We were the COVID batch because our
Hmm.
college started in 2019, and just six and a half months after college started, then the pandemic came and
Yeah.
everything was start. In terms of the first post, you don't
Hmm.
know how the metrics are and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
इसमें तो मजा आ रहा है, so करते हैं. And then I just started
Hmm.
writing, and then I never stopped. So I think
Yeah.
that
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversation for Change. This is your host, Khushi Verma. And for today's podcast, we have Tanya Bahl as our guest, an alumni of Sriram College of Commerce. Tanya has been honored as a LinkedIn Top Voice 2022 in the Next Gen category, and she was also part of LinkedIn Creators Accelerator program. Currently, she works with Mama Earth as a product developer. So let's deep dive into the podcast. Welcome to Conversation for Change, Tanya.
hi Khushi.
Yeah, okay, so how's weekend treating you?
Oh, weekend is very important when you're working. It's treating me good. How about you?
Okay. Yeah, it's going great as well. I got to talk to you, so it's an amazing one for me. Okay,
Great,
so
great.
tell us about how was your life different in SRCC? And you know how SRCC is different from rest of the colleges in DU.
Got it. So basically, I think we were the COVID batch because our
Hmm.
college started in 2019, and just six and a half months after college started, then the pandemic came and
Yeah,
everything was start. So unfortunately, we didn't
right.
get any of those, fairs or society meetings or anything as such. But just those 6 initial months also that you have, the kind of environment that you
Hmm.
put in where everybody is,
Hmm.
everybody's thinking to be good in what they're doing, everybody's trying to be
Yeah.
better, everybody's coming from different backgrounds, different walks of life. So the kind of interaction and that peer-to-peer learning that you have, that's really great. That's one thing. Second thing is the kind of professors that you have here, because people that you're
Yeah.
studying from, like the authors that you're studying from, they're actually teaching us in here. So that industry experience that they
Hmm.
bring with them, so you get to experience that live. And even if like the classes are at 8:30,
Hmm.
you do that mehnat and then you come to college, just to experience that. And even I think
Yeah.
one thing that's very important is again society culture, because that
Yeah.
is, I think that is there in the entire DU culture itself. But even in
Hmm.
our college, very active college societies, and then you pick up a lot of management skills, a lot of learning
Hmm.
opportunities, and again peer-to-peer networking that you have, which becomes very important when you land into a
Hmm.
corporate job. So I think all of these things are very crucial. We didn't get the fest, so that is something that
Yeah.
I miss. But yeah, apart from that, very good, kind of a culture that you have, and just that growth that you feel, the personal growth and development that
Hmm.
comes, then you experience that, over a certain period of time. So yeah.
Yeah, like completely agree. And like currently, as you are working with Mama Earth, you must be using those things that you have learned in college. So, like,
Oh, yes.
practically, that must be making sense for you as of now.
Yeah, it is because like I was in the media and communication director of this
Hmm.
one society that we had, TEDx SRCC. So therein, even
Hmm.
if you're there for a short period of time, but you pick up those kind of management skills, you pick up teamwork, you pick up interpersonal
Yeah.
communication skills, confidence, and I think these things just form the crux of how you operate in your corporate world. So probably at that point of time, you don't realize the kind of impact it's
Hmm.
making or the kind of difference, but going ahead, then it makes a really big change. So yeah.
Yeah. And like someone who like joins Delhi University right after they are 12th. So what all like pieces of advice they should keep in mind? Like should they join the societies or do an internship? Like, yeah, what all things they can do to make the most out of their careers?
Yeah. So, when you enter into like, a college setup, so you're
Yeah.
overwhelmed because there are a lot of things. All the
Hmm.
societies, college societies will come, they'll pitch you what they're doing, and
Yeah.
they have orientations, you'll have that setup, and you're also new to the entire culture because from school to, college, it's a very
College.
paradigm shift, very big
Right.
shift. So I think
Hmm.
some advice that, a couple of things that you can take off is one, in terms of societies, like I in my first year was part of a lot
Hmm.
of different kind of societies. One was like
Hmm.
D Street, finance based. One was
Yeah.
Markstock, marketing based. One was Connector, writing based.
Hmm.
Then, I was also volunteering for Girl Up Wings. So
Hmm.
different genres. And then there was NSS. So I was part of these all
Oh,
4 or 5 things which are different, all of them are different. It's not like
right.
they're all finance or
Hmm.
that related, so that I can understand what is it that I like doing. So in terms of
Hmm.
society, that suggests that if you want, then you should join them.
Hmm.
Don't come under that, pressure that some X society is, probably very good or the best in your college and
Yeah,
everybody is, eyeing for it. So you also go for it. Won't make sense. Maybe at that time you
exactly.
start feeling that, but it won't make sense. अगर पसंद ही नहीं है वो चीज, then उसको करने से कुछ नहीं होने
Hmm.
वाला. So, that's
Hmm.
one thing. So do it if you actually want to, invest your time into it. Because I've heard things about college society also, people not having a good time, but then you're making a
Hmm.
choice. So then you need to be clear about it. That's one. Second thing, I think people forget that you also have to focus on your academics a little bit, because when you get into
Yeah.
college, that becomes, like a deep priority for a lot of people. Obviously, you explore around, you talk to your friends, you go around campuses, you take part in different things, but also remember, because academics is important, and
Right.
just picking up a book a day before or a week before becomes very hectic. So also, equally focus on your studies that you have. Thirdly,
Yeah.
something that I really, would suggest is take part in a
Hmm.
lot of college competitions. That's,
Hmm.
very, very, very important. So I remember in my first year, I had taken part in some competition along with one of my friends,
Hmm.
and it was in the offline mode, just 3 or 4 in the offline mode, because again it shut down. But even those
Yeah.
few, you go, I think I'd gone to Stephens, I had gone to Hindu, my
Hmm.
own college competitions. So you don't just meet those different kind of people. You probably have one friend, you'll meet 10 of
Hmm.
her or his friends, you'll meet more friends, you build that kind of a network. That's one thing. Second thing is, you experience that when you go to a competition, how do the judges react to your questions? How do you,
Hmm.
respond at that time? How do you strategically or diplomatically try to mold your answers? All of these things you pick
Hmm.
up. And then, so we were losing a lot of competitions initially. We were not reaching the finals or anything at all. But then second year, third year, we just, took part in more. And we actually ended up winning one of this, marketing case competition that was from IM Bangalore. And we had like teams
Oh.
from IM A, B,
Hmm.
C, FMS, XI, all of those colleges. And we were probably the only undergrads to reach there. But we did win.
Yeah.
And, at that time, I was like,
Exactly.
if you just have given up that, we're just
Hmm.
college students, what will happen? So then we won't have reached this stage. So college
Exactly. Yeah.
competition is very, very, very good, and something that we should definitely try, because when you have judges coming around and they ask
Hmm.
questions, be it online, be it offline, you build a
Hmm.
lot of confidence. So I think these three things. And then I think internships also you raised. So again, I suggest probably in the first year, I think a lot of
Hmm.
content writing or business development,
Hmm.
some kind of internships keep on
Yeah.
coming. In the first year, I don't think it's that important. Probably in the second year, you also have college-based internships that you get on
Yeah.
campus. And apart from that, you can, eye for it on LinkedIn if you want to. But again, it's good to have an internship in your field or
Hmm.
domain, but also be sure about the job description, the internship description that is there. Don't
Hmm.
do something that you would regret later on, or think that why did I spend my, 2 or 3 months doing this? So I think these couple of things, well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things, but some, things that I think are important.
Yeah. And college is all about exposing yourself to different opportunities
Yeah.
and then figuring out what is right for you. So yeah,
Yes.
very well, given advices by you. Okay, so as you have been also, honored as a top LinkedIn voices, so I just want to ask you one thing, like, how did you felt writing your first post on LinkedIn, and
So
when it all,
yeah.
like, when it all started?
Yeah, so it's actually, a very unique story, I think. It's like I say
Okay.
that moment of serendipity that you have, So I was
Uh,
just, I
mm,
think, in the first year of college itself, and that
okay.
time everybody's, exploring different things, you were talking to different
Mm,
kind of people. So I had just overheard from somebody that LinkedIn is, this,
mm,
a portal for finding jobs. I
yeah.
overheard this in my college, and I was like, this is
Uh,
because I had never heard of LinkedIn until I had entered college.
mm,
So I didn't know. I was
yeah.
like, okay, let's try it out. So I opened
Mm,
that app, and I don't know, it just struck me that I could see, posts by good creators across, you say Ankur Variku,
mm,
you have Akshat Srivastava, all of them, they put out good posts. But then something that struck me was, why aren't there college students on this platform? Because it's not just for
mm,
finding jobs. It's not. And I'm talking about 2019. That time, there was no such thing of, writing on LinkedIn at such a grand scale.
yeah.
Right now it's
I
flooded,
think
but
it
it
was
wasn't
it
there.
was dead,
It was,
LinkedIn.
yeah, that time it was
Exactly,
just,
nothing was there.
yeah, it was just for finding jobs or internships, or there was,
Uh,
those few bucket of creators who used to write. So that time I was like,
mm,
this is something very different. Nobody's probably
Yeah.
ever done it. Or maybe people have done it. I don't know. But from a college student's
Yeah.
perspective, I was like, ये कुछ अलग है. Just let's just try it out.
Hmm.
What do I have to lose? So I
Right.
think the first post I wrote was around, I had anchored some Dhananjay Mohan symposium in my school. So I was
Okay.
the discipline secretary of my school at that time. And it was just a photo of,
Hmm.
me speaking with the mic, and I just put it out as to how, you should take up opportunities that come your way. That was
Yeah.
ironically my first post. And I think
Hmm.
that performed well enough. I mean, in terms of, the first post, you don't
Hmm.
know how the metrics and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
इसमें तो मजा आ रहा है, so करते हैं. And then I just started
Hmm.
writing, and then I never stopped. So I think that
Wow.
that is how it started, the entire thing. And the LinkedIn top voice one, I think I got it
Hmm.
when I got it last year. So I was 21 at that time.
Hmm.
I'm still 21 right now. But yeah, so I got it at that time, and I was, for that moment, I was like, I don't know. I can't actually express it into words, but getting
Hmm.
that thing after, I think, writing for 2.5 years on the platform, I was like,
Hmm.
wow. I think this is the moment I, got the email that this has happened. I was like, I, you can't actually put that into words, that feeling which you
Right.
get.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that is just, that time also I realized that when you're putting effort into something, and you actually
Hmm.
want to do it, because my reason for writing, the first year of college, you don't think कि इससे मेरा personal brand बनेगा, इससे मुझे job मिलेगा, इससे कौन
Exactly.
मिलेगा,
We
वो
are
सब नहीं होता है.
clueless. हाँ, clueless होते
Clueless.
हैं हम.
So I was just writing for the fun of it, because I used to love writing. And I think
Hmm.
that's what's, continued since then till date. And that's why I still continue writing, because I like it.
Hmm.
And that's, how the entire journey is folded.
And yeah, like तुम ऐसे कुछ expect नहीं कर रहे थे out of that writing. And
Yeah,
that is what
yeah,
kept you going, right?
exactly, exactly. And when you get honored, then you feel so good about it that you've
Yeah.
put in so many efforts into it, and now finally that efforts have borne fruit. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Acha, like, what like you want to say to the students who should, build their personal brand on LinkedIn and, just start posting and writing their own opinions and views.
Yeah, so I'm glad you actually asked me this question, because I get a
Yeah.
lot of DMs regarding this almost every other day, and it gets very difficult to respond to so many people, because
Yeah.
what was there in 2019 was like rare.
Hmm.
I started, a few other people had started, and now if I see LinkedIn, I see like people from batch of 25, batch of 26, and I feel I'm so old now because I've seen them also writing on LinkedIn. And I
Yeah.
think the entire
Yeah.
it's been a very big shift. I've seen only
Hmm.
college students, so many of them, trying to create content. So my, first
Hmm.
advice would be that don't focus on likes and comments and reactions and shares when you're just starting out. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people just ask me that, how do I increase my followers? That's a very bad approach to follow. I mean, if you're just starting to
Exactly.
write, if
Hmm.
you think that okay, मुझे एक हफ्ते में 10,000 फॉलोअर करने हैं, नहीं होंगे यार. And क्यों करने हैं? I mean, that is not, having a high amount of followership does not end up being a high credible brand. It's not necessary.
Right. Right.
So I think the first advice would be that A, figure out what you want to write about, right? Let's say
Hmm.
so one thing could be that you are a finance enthusiast. Okay,
Hmm.
so you pick up like every other day some finance thing happening in the world. Let's say there's this
Yeah.
your banks issue that is happening right now, with the
Hmm.
entire economy is also facing a crisis. So you can
Yeah.
pick up these things, you can explain what is happening to the unicorn bank that is there, and
Hmm.
Silvergate Bank, the entire story behind it. You put out your
Hmm.
own, let's say, your own interpretation around it. You explain
Hmm.
finance terms. So then you also become more pro at it.
Yeah.
B, you build your expertise in it. That's one thing. If you're a subject matter expert, let's say finance,
Hmm.
marketing, HR, any other field. But the thing is,
Yeah.
when you're a first year college student, most probably you won't have this figured out. You probably won't know that
Exactly.
what you want to do. Right. So the
Hmm.
second thing that you can do is you write out on a couple of tests, couple of different topics. Like
Hmm.
one day, maybe let's say you post around marketing. Second day, you post something
Hmm.
around HR. Third day, you post something around college, because you were literally in college. And that is how I
Yeah.
started. I used to post around college, every day. Let's say you're experiencing something in your college societies. How do you think it's helping
Hmm.
you out? Then secondly, how do you think you're building confidence? Some event you've been to, how the event's been, some competition you took part in, how the competition's been. So that is like your
Hmm.
general life experience that you can write about. Another thing that I think will take time to build is, once you create a personal brand, then you give advice
Hmm.
about personal brand. People have already started giving
Yeah.
advice. They're like, ये कर लो,
Exactly.
पहले खुद का तो बना लो यार, फिर कर लेना,
This is
advice दे
so
देना.
true, man. Like this is
Yeah.
happening like everywhere on LinkedIn.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, the thing is, it's okay. You go on posting content, but
Mm-hmm.
your post is increasing, your followers are also probably increasing, but are you also getting that credibility? I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's there.
Mm.
So experiment with different things, experiment at different time also. A lot of people ask me, "Kis time post karu?" So it's different for
Mm.
everybody. So for me, I
Yeah.
think if I post, let's say in the morning around 9:30 to 10:30, 11, I know that the time is good for my audience. Or let's say in the
Yeah.
evening around 6:30, 5, that time. I've figured that out because I've written around 400 posts or roughly, I think. So I know that this audience will be active at this time. So you build that with
Mm.
practice. That's one thing. And second thing would be, if you really want to create content, then you have to be consistent as well. A lot of people write like
Yeah.
one post and they're like, इसमें तो सिर्फ 5 लाइक आई, इसको छोड़ो, अब हम नहीं लिख रहे कल से. And I've had people telling me कि इसमें तो likes नहीं आ रही, comments नहीं आ रहे. यार तो आप
Mm.
सोचो, you are right now, people don't know you. It takes time to build
Mm.
that credibility. Maybe your initial 10 posts also get 1, 2, 3, 4 likes. So it's okay. You like your own post also initially. होता है,
Yeah,
सब करते हैं.
exactly. We
It's
can.
okay. You have self confidence. No, कुछ नहीं होता. आप खुद के भी करो.
Mm.
तो आपको टाइम लगेगा उसे बिल्ड करने में. So don't just give up because you're not getting immediate results. It's a long process. So I think
Mm.
these two
It's a
things.
journey. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
journey, and one
it's a
should keep
yeah.
in mind.
Exactly. And I think for a college student, LinkedIn is such an awesome platform. I mean, I
Mm.
really advocate for it, and I think people should use it. I hope more of them do. I've already seen a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like besides writing, video content is also like, growing on LinkedIn. So what is
Yes.
your take? Like one should start creating your videos, like how they should go about it.
Yeah. So fair point. And I think even
Mm.
image content has started picking up a lot because right
Yeah.
now, yeah. So that's what the algorithm is supporting. A lot of people,
Mm.
in your post, even I do that. You associate
Mm.
images with it and then you put it out because
Mm.
people nowadays just don't want to see a write-up. They also want to see a face with it. Or,
Yeah.
if you see a post by Tanya Bahl, you should also know how Tanya Bahl looks like. Or if you see a post by
Mm.
Khushi, so people are relating to people. That's why like
Mm.
image culture has started. I've seen almost all posts are now flooded with images. That's one thing. And second thing, video has started picking up a lot. And I wish if I had more time, I would have also invested, into creating videos. I just, I'm
Yeah.
not able to find that, requisite time and probably a proper setup for it. But I really
Mm.
suggest because what you can do is you can also repurpose a lot of content. Let's say, you're
Mm.
writing something, let's say 5 ways to build confidence, something like that.
Yeah.
Put out a written post on it. That same post, you
Yeah.
can pick up 1 or 2 points, you can create that into a video.
Mm.
That one
Right.
thing for
Right.
building confidence. Maybe a 10 seconder, a 20 seconder. You build a video
Mm.
from that. Third, you can also create a poll from it. Let's say what out of these three things do you think is good for building confidence? And what do you think? So from this one
Mm.
thing, you create a written, you create a video, you can also create carousel, you create a poll.
Yeah.
So you can repurpose a lot of content. And I think going forward as
Mm.
well, people's retention span is very low. Obviously, everybody's is
Exactly.
very low.
Yeah.
You don't have
Mm.
time. LinkedIn is now flooded with a lot of content. So, that
Mm.
written form, I think it's here, it's there, obviously, it's going to stay as well.
Mm.
But I think it can be enhanced with multimedia like images and videos. So I suggest,
Mm.
anybody who's trying out, do focus
Mm.
onto video, if you can give time to it, because it's something very good. Videos and like podcasts, like you putting out podcasts, that's really
Yeah.
good. So do take it up. And once again, please don't fret over analytics. That will take time
Yeah.
to pick up. But just try out with,
Mm.
these different variations. Yeah.
Yeah, like absolutely. This, like really makes sense. Okay, so can you name your favorite content creators, like any top three?
Yeah, so I think on LinkedIn, so one of the
Yeah.
persons because of whom I had actually, started writing, and
Mm.
I think it was the first time I had seen a good piece of content. That's
Mm.
Ankur Warikoo. And I think he's a lot of
Yeah,
people's favorites. I'm pretty sure
exactly.
because every
Even
morning you
mine
get
as
up.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you get up, you'll see one of his posts at least popping on your
Mm.
feed. I think just the
Right.
way he simplifies content, whatever very simple things he'll say, very basic things,
Mm.
but just the way you present it, just the way you grasp your audience
Mm.
attention, and it just sticks in your mind. You remember that this post had been written.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Mm.
he is one. Then second, there's another creator called Justin Welch. So
Mm.
again, he's also a huge creator, and he writes around social media and branding itself. Very succinct and to the point
Mm.
post. And the first line would be a very good hook that will, just be
Yeah.
like you want to read the entire post. So he's the second person. And third
Okay.
would be Akshat Srivastava. I am pretty
Mm.
sure again everybody would have
Yeah.
heard of him.
Everybody
Yeah,
knows him.
yeah. So I think he also just the way he breaks down, let's say, finance terms or any
Mm.
economy terms, anything that he wants to explain. So very easy and easy way to read it, and also
Yeah,
anybody who's probably not pro in that topic can understand what he's trying to say. So I think these
exactly.
three,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people, I mean, but I think these
Mm.
three are on the top.
Yeah, completely agree. And like as we like when we are sometimes about to create content on LinkedIn, we feel that there is so much saturation. But as humans, we have to realize that we just need constant reminder of what we already know, right?
Exactly, exactly. That's very true. I mean,
Yeah.
I think even when it comes to creating content, a lot of people
Mm,
will think at one point that this is a flooded market. Why should I do
mm,
that? That doesn't make sense. Whatever I am
yeah.
thinking or whatever you are thinking as a person would be very different. We have our own
Yes,
thought
yes.
processes, but
Mm,
just how the way you explain it or the way you put it into words, I mean, taking that concept that the glass is entirely full, or there are no people
mm,
left, that it just
yeah.
doesn't work. There'll always be more people to read your content. There'll always be
Mm,
more people to give time to it, as long as you create something
mm,
that is authentic. So I think that,
exactly. And
yeah,
over the period of time, it evolves.
exactly. So
Mhm. Okay, so Tanya, tell us about your other interests and hobbies besides, writing and your job, and what other things you do to, de-stress yourself.
yeah. So I think one of the things is I dance. So I was a trained
Okay.
Kathak dancer. I had learned it for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't complete the entire degree or anything, but I had learned dance earlier. So, whenever I just want to
Mm,
relax, probably on a weekend or
mm,
something, I put out those Punjabi songs, or, some kind of song,
mm,
and I just dance, or wherever you'll see me dancing
mm.
sometime or the other. So I think that is something I like doing.
Wow.
Second, even listening to
Mm,
songs, be it, let's say, going in the
mm,
metro or coming back, because they really de-stress you, and
mm,
you just feel very calm. Those different type of, be it, Hollywood or Bollywood songs, a lot of different,
mm.
genres. It just takes you to a different plane
World.
altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand, what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I
I'm
think,
getting it.
yeah, I think music is a lot of people's favorite for that reason.
Mm,
So I think these two things, and if I get time, then I like to sleep also. Whenever I get time, I think it's a paucity of time for everybody when it comes to sleeping.
yeah.
But yeah, I think dancing, listening to music, writing, because I write on
Mm,
LinkedIn, so I also like to,
mm,
jot down my thoughts and everything. Gives you a sense of calm, and again, you
mm.
can articulate your thoughts really well. I think
Yeah.
this, and I really love watching movies. Very, very
Mm.
big movie buff, especially Hollywood movies. So yeah, I think these couple of things.
Yeah, all right. So, for learning, what do you do? Like, do you go for some podcast or articles, or like what sources like you get to learn and understand better?
Yeah, so I think if it comes to, let's say it's reading news, so one
Yeah.
should be aware about, what is happening day to day.
Mm.
Generally, you don't get time to read, the entire newspaper every other
Yeah,
day.
it
So there's
happens.
this, yeah, it happens with almost everybody. So there's this app
Mm.
called In Shorts. I think you may have
Even I
heard of it.
uses the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it gives you very crisp information about any news that
Mm.
is coming up. And if you want to deep dive into it, then you can just click on it and go further.
Yeah, go
Then
further.
there's,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is like for the short way of reading a news. Then there's another
Mm.
channel. I think it's YouTube channel. I think Study IQ,
Mm.
I believe. So it's
Yeah, it's a
also,
great
yeah,
channel. Yeah.
yeah. So it will, pick up important burning topics that are happening right now, and it will
Mm.
explain the entire concept behind it, just from the
Mm.
inception of it to what is happening currently.
Yeah.
Anything that is happening in the market nowadays, or in the economy nowadays, anywhere else. So very good concept breakdown. Then I also, try to sometimes listen to some TED Talks when I get
Mm.
time, like there's this one TED Talk, I've forgotten the name of the speaker, but I think it's around
Mm.
how not to take things personally. Or there's one
Mm.
more about how to build your confidence, and there's around
Mm.
creativity. So I think a couple of TED Talks, whenever you get time, they again, it exposes you to a different tangent of learning. You pick
Yeah,
up
it
new
happens.
thoughts, you pick up new learnings, you see how do people, even express themselves. Just seeing a speaker
Mm.
speak in the TED format, how do they, gauge the audience's response, how do they
Mm.
react to it. So I think these three things. And sometimes if I get time, I also try to listen
Mm.
to podcasts. I think,
Mm.
and I don't think I remember as such, but some that keep on coming on YouTube, some podcasts
Yeah.
around founders, or their learnings, how
Mm.
have they built their startup from the ground to where it reached today. So these couple of things.
Mm.
So different kind of sources, and of course LinkedIn. LinkedIn also now
Yeah.
has all the news, whatever comes, people have
Right.
broken it down
It's a
completely.
great way to stay updated
Exactly.
with whatever happening
Exactly.
in our
Yeah.
surroundings.
there's news, and then there's also those trending topics that keep on coming. So
Hmm.
again, one thing that you can refer to. So I think these couple of things.
Yeah, that's amazing, Danya. And yeah, like thank you so much for sharing these amazing insights with us.
You're
Even I have
welcome.
like
Yeah.
noted down so many advices for myself. Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me as well. And I think it's really good that you have taken this up, because I don't see so many people creating around podcasts and then you're repurposing that in different places, be it LinkedIn
Yeah.
or be it your other social media channels. So good that you also started this, and good initiative. I think via this I
Thank
can also
you.
reach out to a lot of other people, because I
Hmm.
also get a lot of DMs and messages. It's good to respond, but
Yeah,
I think
it's
this is
easy,
like,
to
yeah,
spread the message. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So thank you once again.